First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here. Congratulations to the 143rd pick of the 5th round, Josh Thomas.
Thank you.
And to his family. It's quite an honor to be here next to a young man who has worked extremely hard, who's dedicated himself, and has put himself in the best position that you'd ever want to be in, and that's playing at the next level after your collegiate career. And as we all say, it's how about them Cowboys getting a great player? We're excited, and this is an elite group of players. You think about in the draft, there was 254 players drafted, and if you look at all the scholarship players, it's approximately about 1% of the scholarship players out there that get drafted. So congratulations, JT.
Coach, thanks. Thank you.
Any questions at this time? Just talk about what the last couple of days have been like for you, Josh.
I can't even put it into words. Obviously, the lifestyle is changed. The everyday normal walk that I have, would be walking on a Cowboy platform now, and I got on the plane yesterday thinking that I was gonna go to sleep, and I had a piece of gear that said Cowboy, and it triggered a 2-hour conversation, whole plane ride back to Buffalo last night. So it's definitely a life-changing. It's gonna be a life-changing experience for me, and I'm just having to try to cope with it the best way I can.
How do you think you'll be able to handle that, the lifestyle change and everything? How do you think you'll be able to adjust to that?
I do expect a lot of changes, but I didn't think that the changes would happen so sudden. And, like just walking through the airport and people staring at you, it's very different from what I'm used to. And I've never been put on a stage to where I was put in the press or in the media, and have to answer questions due to things happening. I've only had, 2-3 interviews before this. And, and now having all kinds of things about me on the internet and, people calling me and unknown numbers I've never, ever seen before, and people having to tell me who they are. So there was even some family members, I didn't know their name, But, that's what I've been dealing with, the past few days.
Josh, it could have been 32 teams that you would have been drafted by, but how has this multiplied because it's the team that you grew up 45 minutes from?
They actually did a special. CBS came, the news came, was it yesterday, right before I left. They called me, Joshua Thomas, we heard that you were leaving this week. I was like, yeah, I'm leaving. And I said, is there any chance we can come by the house and, interview you and the family? And I'm like, this is the second day, I've actually been a Cowboy, and then growing up as a Cowboy and having my draft party where I used to run around in diapers, and in that living room, the house had a house fire just being restored, and and having my city want me to become a Cowboy, it means the world to me. It means the world to me. So I can't be forever grateful.
Like watching the draft, and when you just sat there and you saw that the Cowboys were on the clock and you haven't been picked yet, just the emotions going through your mind. What was that like?
Quite honestly, my agent told me not to watch the draft. Just kind of have a regular day, have a regular, So I decided, okay, we're gonna have a regular Sunday, pop out cookout on the grill, have a few people over, and play with the kids. And that's something I was doing. And my agent was telling me, a lot of teams had me projected as late 3rd round to early 4th round. So after the 4th round was over, there was some concern that I had on my part, and seeing those corners continuously go right before me, it just made me hungry. Made me ready to play. Because I've always had to overcome adversity. I always had to prove myself. And so when Coach Campo was talking to me, I don't think he knew where I was coming from, but I was telling him I was ready to play right now, Coach. I'm ready to play. And I meant that from the bottom of my heart because I have so much to prove, and I can't wait for the first day of practice. And so that's where I'm at right now. And it was definitely tough sitting there watching those corners go. But at the same time, they just kept fueling the machine. They kept fueling it. So it's a flame now. They've done enough, and I'm ready for the first day of practice. Can't wait.
Did Jerry Jones call you himself?
Actually, somebody called for Jerry Jones, and they actually passed the phone to Jerry Jones, and it was too surreal. Can't even put it in words.
Did you actually believe it? I'm calling for Jerry Jones. What were you thinking at that point?
I was thinking, you know, I'm having a regular day in my grandmother's house, and you know, watching the draft. I wasn't feeling like I wasn't part of it because I was watching it, and you know, looking down at my phone vibrates and pick it up, and it's Tom. Well, I've been getting some prank phone calls prior to. I'm like, okay, it's an unknown 972 number. Who is Tom? And I'm gonna pass the phone to Jerry Jones. I'm like, oh. And Jerry Jones gets on the phone, and Josh? I'm like, yeah. He says, are you there? I said, are you there? You know, like Jerry Jones calling me. You know, I didn't call Jerry Jones. You know, so you know, being at my grandmother's house and Jerry Jones call the house. You know, you have to see, you have to be there to just really understand what happened.
Watching this, it's quite evident that it's a dream come true. It's hard to put into words. Has there been a moment? Do you think there'll be a moment in the next few days, weeks, that you just really come back down to earth and off this cloud nine?
It still feels like a big dream. I mean, I've always, and it's funny because me and my teammates, a lot of guys that I built really, really close relationships and bonds with on the team. A few guys, you know, they've always said, man, you know, you've always been like overlooked. You've always been, they got to be underrated. And they've always asked me, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about, you know, sometimes falling in the shadow? And I tell them, you know, I've always had to, you know, been through adversity to where I may not got as much exposure, but I've always achieved gold. And so I was never worried, but just to the fact that, you know, that's something that I've have to overcome continuously throughout the years and in my career, and it's been quite an experience. And you know, so as far as, you know, playing for the Cowboys and having Jerry Jones call me, and you know, being on cloud nine, I don't think that's going to end anytime soon.
When you looked at that famous logo, that star, when you looked at it before, what did it mean? When you looked at it now, what does it mean?
I've said it before, but you know, having my team, my brothers behind me here in Buffalo, and having my family behind me and at home, who are Dallas' biggest fans, and they've been rooting for him since I can at least remember, you know, and now knowing that I have my city behind me, where I was born in, where I was raised, and where I'm from, and the common question that I had at the combine was, how'd you get from Dallas to Buffalo? And now I'm thinking, how am I getting from Buffalo to Dallas? And so just having everybody behind me in my city, you know, and not only is it just a team, it's America's team. So I was on playing with a guy yesterday, and he was from New York, and he took a tour. He paid to go to Dallas just to see a tour of the Texas Stadium, and when he told me that, I figured, okay, this is really America's team. So. And they wanted me to play for them. I can't be more grateful. I can't.
I know it's a 4-year journey. What was your journey like to get here from when you were in high school to going to Buffalo with, you know, the weather changes and all that to now? Like, you know, what's that been like for you?
Well, coming out of high school as 150 pounds and being passed up by a lot of the Division I teams due to my size, and you know, having a few offers and taking a trip here to Buffalo, I knew I was going to be at home just because of the fact that Turner Gill had taken a personal trip to come recruit me and bring me back here and offer me. It said a lot about him as his character, and again, a team that actually wanted me the most. And it goes back to like Dallas, you know, a team that wanted me the most. And my 4 years here, changing my first practice during the wintertime, and it was it rained, and then it snowed, then it sleeted, then it became like a 30-mile wind. And at the time, we had a defensive coordinator who didn't allow us to wear sleeves because he did want us to be tough and raw dog athletes, as I would like to say. And that was one of the hardest practices I ever had, due to the fact I've never had to practice in those type of conditions besides the 90-degree heat. And so my 4 years here, I've learned how to play the true game of football. Football is played in every single weather that you would have, whether it be snow, sleet, rain, a 30-mile wind, and that's just the game of football. And I've learned to cherish it being here at Buffalo. And now I'm back in Dallas. I know I can play anywhere.
When did you start this was always your dream, but when did you start realizing that this could actually happen for me because of the kind of collegiate career I'm putting together?
My coach, Coach Reed, he's at Ohio University right now, coaching the secondary. He coached the Detroit Lions prior to coming to the University of Buffalo, and he came in and, he jacked me around. He jacked me around as far as he'll start me one moment, then he'll sit me down, and then he'll rotate me, with guys with Dominic Cook and Kendrick Hawkins, and I always wondered, why did he do that? Why wasn't I just that guy? And now I understand he put me through those things to, learn how to overcome adversity, and always having to learn how to prove yourself, and him being able to mold me as a person and say, little comments like, there's 1% of guys who can play NFL, and there's a percentage in this room that can't do that. And him always encouraging me throughout practice and, put things on me that I didn't understand. But he definitely molded me as a person. And after that coach there, after he had left, I figured that, I have a chance, I have a true shot at playing at the next level.
When you look back at your Buffalo career, is there one play, one moment? I know you made a lot of plays. Is there one particular play or moment that stands out for you as like the highlight?
It would be. It's kind of hard. It's a hard question because it was in the MAC championship game when I stuck the quarterback at the goal line, and he fumbled, and Mike Newton ran it back for 90-some yards, and then there was another play with Donald Brown where I actually ran him down, and being able to hog down somebody that's supposed to be one of the best. Any chance I get to prove myself and put myself on that big stage and put myself on the map, I got to capitalize. And so those two plays there, I would say, were the highlights of my career. But I can't really say which one would be the better one for me.
A little bit more about the MAC championship. One.
MAC championship, that it means more because of the fact that what we had to overcome that year, and our backs were against the wall, and Turner Gill, him coming in and trying to changing the program, and actually going to the MAC championship, and he told me, "You come here, you're gonna win the MAC championship. We're gonna win championships." And for us to do that and come from 2-10, tradition 2-10, and actually going out and doing it, that was just a life-changing experience. So, in having that bond with my team as a family, and unity. And that's something that we've carried it out even with Coach Quinn now. And I can't ask for more or a better coach now than Coach Quinn.
Coach Quinn, what does it mean to you what was the moment when you finally realized that this guy has it, this guy is going to be somebody, this guy's going to make a difference?
Well, every day at practice we had an NFL team represented here at the University of Buffalo, watching JT and a number of other seniors. And then I knew when he was invited, he was one of 5 players that were invited to the NFL Combine. And we know that approximately around 85% of the players that get invited to the Combine have a chance of being drafted, will be drafted. So I knew that there was a lot of interest in JT, and you can tell this is a very passionate young man, very competitive young man, and I knew that right out of the gates. I knew he had a lot of God-given talent too. And I've said this story when he was in the weight room with Coach Duval. He jumped so high he hit his head on a light fixture, and it took 15 stitches. And so we told those guys, if you want a guy that knows how to jump and compete and play press man-to-man coverage, this is the kind of guy you want to look at. And, there's a lot of credibility. We had James Starks a year ago. When you have a player from your program and your hometown playing for the Super Bowl, there's over 100 million households that were hearing about UB and football being played here. And then JT came along and, obviously has proven what he's capable of doing. So it helps us tremendously, well received. I mean, all our coaches are out right now in spring recruiting, and they know about JT and they know about UB and Starks and Super Bowls, and that's what this is all about, giving these young men a chance and an opportunity, and then, guys like JT who believes deep down in his heart that he's got the capabilities, and he's put all the hard work and effort to it, and all credit goes to JT.
Josh, in a normal year, you'd probably be getting ready for a mini camp this weekend, but it's not a normal year in the NFL. So how's that affect you? I mean, you don't know when you're going to actually get a chance to be a Cowboy. How's that running around your head right now?
I kind of try to look at, see the positive side of it. Having a new defensive coordinator, Coach Ryan, him coming and as defense coordinator and installing a new system, and then everybody's going to start off on a clean slate, and it's going to be even. I'm not going to be at a disadvantage, and I respect Terrence Newman, I respect Mike Jenkins, those two Pro Bowlers, and I'm coming in as a rookie, and I'm coming in to earn a spot, and the fact that I understand there's a lockout, and the fact that I understand there's something that's going to happen and nobody knows, so you have to prepare. And I've been preparing as if I'm going to play a game tomorrow. Like before the combine, day before the draft actually, I was working out. I was outside running, sweating, putting some things together, just so that I can get better, because no one knows what's going to happen. But I'm going to make sure I'm prepared. And so right now, as the lockout happening, I'm not really wasting any time thinking about what could happen. I'm actually, seeing it as opportunity to get better and get ready as if it's a season.
How many ticket requests have you gotten already, if any?
Everybody says, I better get a ticket. That's one of the common quotes in the past 2 days. But I expect it, because there are a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans out there, and who are diehard Cowboys fans, and I just expect it. But that is a common question I've gotten in the past 2 days.
Any teammates in Dallas call and welcome you at all? Anybody?
Teammates?
Yeah, for Dallas?
No, not yet. No, not yet. I actually my agent and I plan on getting a few numbers together and calling the veteran guys, and figuring out the guys I'm gonna play with, getting to know them, and that's the next thing that I would be doing within the next week or two, is figuring out some guys to go and train with.
What about former UB Bulls in the NFL? Anybody call you? Anybody congratulate you?
Yeah, they called me. Naaman called me, congratulated me. Jamie called and congratulated me. Center with the Colts. And Starks, I think he was one of the highlights who called and congratulated me due to the fact, because we played them this year, and he told me he was going to run me over. And I said, okay. And he's adding fire. He's adding fuel to my fire. So I'm like, okay. So he said, I'm not playing. I'm gonna run you over. I'm like, all right, okay. I remember we had a practice back when Turner Gill was here in Starks. It just came back, and he had an engine going beginning of spring, and he broke, and he seen me, and he lowered his shoulder. And expecting he was going to run me over, and next thing you know, I had Turner Gill coming to me, come on, JT, you can't do that. JT, you just can't do that, And so having to understand that as a guy who's really good and has a lot of potentials to do a lot of great things, just as he has. So having him making a personal call and tell me congratulations and be ready because I'm going to run you over. And somebody called my number out. That's something that you usually don't do. I wouldn't recommend you doing. So I'm looking up for the challenge, looking forward to it. Yes.
Josh, what would you say are your immediate and your ultimate goals playing for the Cowboys?
Can you repeat the question?
What would you say are your immediate and then your ultimate goals in playing for the Cowboys?
My immediate goal is get in there and earn a starting position, and become a Pro Bowler as soon as possible. And my ultimate goal is to obviously win the Super Bowl.
Good guys. Appreciate it. These guys are available to you if you want to talk to them.